Hello, everybody. Excited here to interview one of my good friends out of North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, to be specific. Cindy is here to tell us a little bit about her market and educate us about the wonderful city that she's in, and tell us how real estate operates in her neck of the woods. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the studio. Cindy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Okay, so what time do you have in Charlotte right now?
We are 8 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So quite late. We're right at 5 o'clock, and it's still sunny out there.
Yeah, it's dark. It's nighttime.
So thank you for giving us your time, and so tell us a little bit about Cindy and what you do in North Carolina. What does your business look like?
Yeah, so I have been a real estate agent in the industry for about 10 years. I've been buying and selling here. I do residential real estate here in the Charlotte market. I have been selling since about 2017
Right.
and have not stopped since. So I love it. It is my passion. I could not think about doing anything else for sure. The Charlotte market has been growing just like a lot of the other areas. We have seen an increase in pricing, of course.
Mhm.
Still, we've seen just a little bit of decrease over the last year, but we're still trending upwards, which is great.
Mhm.
So we're still trucking along. Right now we're finally seeing that little bit days on the market, right? 30 days on the market. And we're all like, where's our multiple offers and why hasn't it sold? So we're starting to take a breath. I think I put a house on the market last weekend. It was the first weekend that it sat. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how this feels, right? So I think we're starting to turn into a new field on how to handle that and how to handle the seller's expectations after the last couple of years.
Now, I don't know. I would imagine that your market is also seasonal. So, if you're going on the market in October, November, December, there is a little bit of an expectation that, things slow down around the holidays. People don't want to move as much. So I think some of that slowdown probably has to do with the seasonality of the market, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think fall, especially with everything going on, fall sports start back, right? We had Halloween. Things are, school's in full force. So yeah, absolutely. I agree. We don't get a bunch of snow or anything, so we don't get shut down. We still go all year. So yeah, I do. I do. I would agree with that. Just a little bit slow right now.
So I see you have a turtleneck on. So how cold is it in North Carolina?
So I think it was in the 30s this morning. It went
Oh,
from
wow.
80, it went from like 80 degrees last week to like 30 like this morning. Like night and day. Like everybody's got colds because it just was like we were in flip-flops one day and in boots the next.
And you mentioned it doesn't snow in Charlotte.
Not a lot. We'll get a little flurries, we'll get some ice, maybe a big snowstorm once every couple of years, but nothing major. Nope.
And do you have the ocean? Are you? What's your proximity to water?
Yeah, so Charlotte is actually in the perfect location because we are 4 hours from the beach. So I can get to the ocean in 4 hours, or I can get to the mountains in like 2.5. So we are like central. We have both. We have best of both worlds.
And what about your prices? Our prices here in California, I think actually San Diego was voted as the most expensive, the most unaffordable city in the country.
Yeah.
So,
So right.
which
Yeah.
is, not exactly the best claim to fame.
So we get a lot of relocation from, of course, California. We get a lot of relocation from New York, upstate New York, right? Everybody comes south. And so a lot of people will stop here before they get to Florida and retire. Our average prices right now are around 450 is probably about our average sales price in the metro area. And then I also, my general area where I kind of do my main focus in a certain county, it's about the same. It's about 400,000.
400,000. So what do you get for 400,000?
400,000 right now, you're probably average 3-bedroom, maybe 4-bedroom. Let's say 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square feet. Your mansions, not really your mansions, but like your bigger homes, maybe on the lake up at Lake Norman, you're probably looking at, 1 million, 1.5 for a nice house on the lake. It goes all the way up. I don't even know what our highest price maybe on the lake was, like 10 million sold recently. So it's kind of all over the board.
Okay. So I would say that sounds like about half of our prices.
Yes. And you'll get now, when I say that, you're probably in a neighborhood with a lot with a, fenced in backyard, like space.
Are you so what's the average square footage of a yard that you would get?
Probably with the neighborhoods that they're building now, probably like 0.25, probably 0.25, like kind of that quarter. If you go out more in the suburbs, you can go half acre. The further out you go, more, from the city, you're going to get more land for your money.
So our average lot in San Diego is about 5,000 square feet lot.
Wow.
And so 5,000 square feet in the city of San Diego is a good size lot. It's sometimes it goes as little as 2,500 square feet lot, or even sometimes less. If you go to the suburbs, you're looking at probably about 7,000 square foot lot to, if you're lucky, you get to 10,000 square foot lot. But, you really, really have to go out in the countryside to get half an acre or even quarter of an acre of,
Yep.
lot sizes.
Yeah, we're pushing out right now. I mean, to get something decent, you're 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If you want a nice lot and a big house, you're going to be pushed out from the city. Definitely.
So what we were talking, the audience, we were talking about the agent commissions a little bit earlier with Cindy, and we don't know which way this is going to go, but just as an informational pointer about what's going on is, typically in our industry, usually the seller pays the commissions, and that gets split, because normally you have two agents in a transaction, one that's representing the buyer and one that's representing the seller. And the seller normally pays for both sides of the commission, because the seller is the one with the equity, and buyers usually are scraping all the money together to get into the market, and therefore the commission is something that is beyond their ability to pay. But that looks like it's going to change. We don't know exactly how that's going to change, but that looks like might be something that is going to be different. My idea about that is probably what we're going to see is that's going to be something that's going to get financed and get into the loan, because no buyer is going to have that kind of money to come into the table with that kind of extra fees. So it's probably going to be added to the loan for the buyer, and that's how us professionals working with buyers and sellers are going to get compensated, and which then gets us to the point of, do they even need us?
Yes. I think if they do away with it, and I think if the buyers do not have a handle, if we can't figure out a way for the buyers to be able to afford it, or there's a way around it, right? I don't know if it goes to a structured fee. I don't know what it happens. But I think if that goes away, there's going to be more lawsuits and more things that go wrong with each and every transaction. Is going to cause more of a mess and more time and money than it is just to be paying them. So they're not going to be represented. And right now, even by us doing everything by the book and most of us, everything by the book, and there's still mistakes that are made, right? Could you imagine? I mean, I just can't. The lawyers will be overloaded.
I think maybe what's to be said is we must have been doing a really, really good job for the general public not to realize what a tremendous amount of value agents actually provide, because it's not just opening the door and handing over keys. That is our job to do, but there's also lots of just to go over the contract and make sure that the buyers and sellers, that facilitating of the contract and going over the disclosures, explaining the zoning laws, explaining all the ins and outs of getting into the house and getting out of the house, and all the all the construction
exactly
issues that may come up with a house. Without an agent, I can't imagine how a buyer and seller would be able to navigate through all of that.
I wouldn't even know. I don't even think half of them would even know where to start. I mean, you take in like us in the country, like you have septics and you have wells and you have zoning issues and you have easements and like all these things, and they're asking you, who do I call? What do I do? We handle it all. We handle everything. So there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to be able to do it. I feel my heart aches for the buyers if it comes down to the point where they can't afford it. And I think that that's where the agents and how do we help still, right? And I know if we're listing heavy, right, we'll be able to help those buyers, right? And that's going to be okay, and we'll be able to do that. But the people who are not listing heavy and can't hold their business by helping buyers for $50, that's gonna hurt people's business, one, and it's gonna hurt the buyers in the long run. So, and just like VA loans, they don't have the cash. No cash, like you said, and hopefully maybe the loan industry and the mortgage industry will be able to write it in there to where they can finance it.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I think that's what we're going to be looking at. I think giving away or getting away from the transaction being handled by the agents, it would be a huge mistake, and I don't think it would be to the benefit of the buyers or in the industry as a whole.
Correct. And I can tell you, agents who are listening right now, the consumer is aware of what's going on. Don't avoid it. Don't avoid the conversation, because they're testing you to know if you know it, right? I was just in a listing appointment today, and the gentleman asked, "What's your fee?" Right? Well, sir, I charge 6% normally, right? And I saw him hesitate. I said, "But that's 3% from my side, and that is 100% up to you." And he said, and he said something about the lawsuit. And I said, "That's right. You get to decide how much you want to pay that buyer's agent to get them in the door." They know if you avoid the conversation, if you push it under the rug, they're going to come bite you, and they're going to go to the next agent who was willing to educate and defend themselves, right?
Yeah.
Don't avoid the conversations. Know what's going on.
Now, let me ask you this, because this is something that I have seen, and I thought it was very interesting. Earlier in the week, I was watching and I saw that the UAW actually won the strike that they had, and they were talking about the average UAW worker has basically they have negotiated their fees at $89 an hour, which for a 40-hour work week, and working full time, I think what I calculated was something to the effect of $169,000 per year. And so, and now what they said was that is the total package with benefits. But we all know how those contracts are going to look like, and we know that 40 hours a week, if they get busy, may not be sufficient. So they probably are looking at overtime in addition to that. And and if we compare that to our industry, $170,000 a year is a very, very good living, which most agents do not earn.
Right.
And of course there is the Hollywood side of our business, which is not the reality of what we deal with, right?
Yes.
That's not how real estate is. It's sensational real estate, but it's not real estate.
Correct.
So I think that what's interesting is for us to, like you said, educate the public that there's a lot that we provide. And you could even argue that for what we provide and how we provide it with just a commission, and we don't get paid until the transaction actually concludes, our
Yep.
fee is a bargain. If you were to go to an attorney and have an attorney charge you per hour for what we do from beginning till the end of the a transaction, it would be
Exactly.
tremendously more money that the buyer or the seller would have to pay.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's not even including on the sales side what we're doing up front, forking out money up front before the listing even goes live. And we don't even know we're taking a gamble, right? Is it going to, I mean, between all the stuff that we put in up front, and you have to say that, like, we have photos, measurements, we do all these things for you to make sure we're marketing your property and doing our job. And that goes back to the value. What is your value? And if you, and I think that that's the conversation of some people are like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose agents in our industry and all that. Yeah, if you know your value and you know your worth and you know you got it, that's, you got to defend it, right? And you got to know your job and know what you're worth.
So now getting back to the fun part of us actually working together and having our connection. And this is something that I always want to bring out to my customers, to my family, friends, and everybody involved, is that I'm actually, my fingers are all over the country. And it's yes, if you're thinking of doing business in San Diego, yes, I'm happy to help. But if you are thinking of doing business in Charlotte, North Carolina, then I have a fabulous friend of mine that can help, and that's how we provide more value, and that's how we are able to provide excellent service to our customers.
I love
Speaking
that.
of
Yes.
that, how do you is that something that you also tell your client base of the value that you provide with the network of people that you are able to give them?
Oh, absolutely. Right. And just with us, I know we're both in Tom Ferry and the Tom Ferry ecosystem. And so that huge value. And I know that those agents in that ecosystem are A plus, and I don't have to worry. And so I can go call you or go in the chat or Loom or whatever, and I can find people all over the world. And I know that they'll be very well taken care of. I've had several referrals sent to my way, and I've sent others, and it's a pleasure doing business with other agents.
What about other business providers? How do you provide that resource to your client base, in terms of providing other referrals?
Yeah, so of course within our, like in our market, right? We have all of our local providers that we use, whether it's lenders or our attorneys. We have, when I'm getting a house ready, I have cleaners, I have pressure washers, I have handyman, I have all of those people on speed dial. And when I call, they're like, okay, Miss Cindy, I'll get out there tomorrow, And so that is what this business is. It's relationships. And
Yeah.
if you have the relationships, and it's building those relationships and being able to count on each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's late where you are, but really, really appreciate your time. And the audience, if you are thinking of buying or selling anywhere in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina, to be specific, there is Cindy's phone number. And also you can reach out to Cindy on her email address as well. And is there anything else before we part ways to add to our conversation, Cindy?
No, I don't think so. I've enjoyed it. Loved the conversation. If you ever have any questions about the area or anything in North Carolina, please give me a call.
Awesome. Very good. Well, and audience, if you found this conversation helpful, please, if you are on Facebook, please give us any comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up or give us your comments. We always appreciate them. And as always, if you're thinking of buying or selling in San Diego, give me a shout. And there is my phone number. And also there is my website if you want to reach out to me on my website. And if you're on Instagram, there's my Instagram handle, and always appreciate you reaching out. And again, if you are thinking of buying or selling or getting information in Charlotte, North Carolina, there is Cindy, and there's Cindy's phone number and Cindy's email address. Thank you very much, and have a great night.
Bye. Thank you so much.